Well, ladies and gentlemen, our special coverage is still continuing. We have with us over the phone Mohamed Sabreen, managing editor at Al Ahram newspaper. Good evening, Mr. Mohamed.
Good evening.
Mr. Mohamed, how do you currently assess the Russian response to the current situation, and do you think Moscow will stick to diplomacy?
It seems to me that, after, the escalation in the fighting between Iran and Israel, and also the attack against, Al-Aidid, it seems to me that, this recent attack was actually have some kind of understanding between, Iran and Qatar and United States. And, the response of President Trump when he said that, we have been notified from the Iranian side before this attack.
Yes.
And he was asking, the Iranian and the Israelis, to go back to the peace road. So actually, let's hope that, this will be the sign of the beginning of the ending of this escalation. And this happened on a coincidence with negotiation between Iran Foreign Minister and President Putin in Russia today.
Mr. Mohamed, the escalation that has been going on in the past few hours, where Iran had been targeting U.S. military bases in the Gulf countries, starting off with firing 6 missiles on Qatari military bases. How do you see the retaliation of the United States going to be like?
Up till now, the President Trump said that, the attack was very weak and didn't made any damage to, to the American base in Qatar.
Yes.
And he was notified before, the attack. So if, if this, what the President Trump was exactly what he means, this means that, there is a window of opportunity or, exit strategy already started, to have it. Or we maybe, and hopefully that he's not maneuvering and he is going to retreat.
Yes. Mr. Mohamed, do you think like the coming days we will be witnessing an even bigger expansion in the current conflict?
Hopefully not, but what we are seeing right now is that, I think at this given moment, I think, the three party could actually say that, we achieve what we think that it is on right, for Iranian, they could say that, we retreat and we did actually attack Israel and made a lot of damage, and the Israelis could claim that they are damaging already, the nuclear program of Iran. And, the American, they could claim that, they forced the Iranian, by destroying, the landmark of their program, Natanz, site, to force the Iranian to come down to the negotiation table. So in this moment, the three, parties of the conflict could claim that, they achieved something. Otherwise, if Israel, everything now will depend about the the Israelis are going to, to say enough is enough, or are the Israelis are going to continue escalating, the situation? We have to wait and see.
Yes, Mr. Mohamed, right after the press conference held in Qatar with the Ministry of Interior, we have seen that they have said that the Qatari situation is safe and that Qatar is safe. How is the situation for other Gulf countries, especially that the airspace is also closed for Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, and I believe it's also closed in Iraq?
What happens, right now, actually shows us how, fragile and how the dangerous is actually very real. Thanks God, that this incident was very symbolic, and and we didn't have a lot of damage regarding our brother and sister in Qatar, but it also sent a message to the rest of the Gulf countries that what they are afraid from and what they are warning about it was very real, and it shows also the solidarity among the Arab countries, and Egypt declare its condemnation of the attack, and standing with Qatar, and also the rest of the Gulf countries, were supporting Qatar, in this regard. But it seems to me, in the other hand, that Qatar said we do have a very strong relation with Iran, but we need to have a meeting, to discuss what happened.
Speaking of the Egyptian support, how will the Egyptian leadership mediate in this current situation, and how will it make sure or try to end the escalation going on between Iran and Israel, and now with the United States having joined the war as well?
Egypt is a very important country in the region, and the Egyptian position from the very early start of this conflict, yes, was warning against, the escalation, and it was very clear that Egypt is against any escalation, and what Egypt was saying all the way was correct, because by the end of the day, all the conflict parties are going to go back to the negotiation table to look for a peaceful solution. So Egypt was, from the very beginning, was asking that instead of all the damages, let's sit to the table and have a reasonable and satisfied solution. So hopefully that all the parties are coming to to consensus that it is a time of peace, not the time of war.
Yes, Mr. Mohamed, Qatar's Foreign Ministry spokesman said in the recent press conference that Qatar's diplomatic role will continue. So how do you see this statement by Doha, and to what extent does it reflect Qatar's role in the region?
I think Qatar was, in a very delicate, situation, because Iran is a neighbor country, and they are sharing, one of the largest, gas field, Al-Shamal, field, and there is a lot of, economic relation between the two sides, and I think, the Qatari government are going to contain this situation because, especially, the Iranians said, this attack is not against our friendly and sister country, Qatar.
Yes.
So hopefully, we are going to contain this incident and not to repeat it at any given time.
Mr. Mohammed, in your opinion, with the U.S. Joining this war, do you believe that Donald Trump is attempting to control Iran or the region a lot more by joining the war and making sure that Iran is a lot weaker as of now, especially after hitting the nuclear plans of Iran?
I think the American president is always in a hurry, and he wants to have a very quick results. But the problem in reality are very complicated, and it is not going with the time or the style of Donald Trump.
Yes.
And I think I hope that the American administration is going to start to understand that the conflicts in the region are very complicated and very deep rooted, and it needs time, and it needs to listen to countries like Egypt who are having the knowledge and the history and the willing and the ability to help in achieving stability in the Middle East. And try in a good mediator, to solve, the problem, and especially in Gaza and the Palestinian cause, and establishing, the Palestinian state. Without this, there is no stability in the whole region.
Mr. Mohammed, was saying that there will be difficulty in finding peace in the region with all of this escalation. So do you think the last strike on Qatar will actually affect the Gulf countries' ties with Iran?
I don't think that there is any interest for the Iranian side or the Gulf countries
Yes.
to get back to go back to the confrontation or the Cold War. I think the Gulf country and the whole of the Arab countries started trying to have to normalize the relation with Iran, because by the end of the day Iran is our neighbor, and we need to reach
an agreement,
a formula of understanding and coexistence, and solve the conflicts or the issues which is remain between the two sides. There is no other alternative, and we don't need and the Arab countries, they don't need to be a stage for solving conflicts between other different foreign countries with Iran. I think we need to avoid, and our region the conflicts and the side effects of these bloody wars and proxy wars.
Mr. Mohammed, do you believe that the United States have joined the war to protect its own interests in the region, especially that the Iranian leadership has said that they are going to be closing the Strait of Hormuz?
I think the Iranian said a lot of things before the war and at the beginning of the war and also in the middle of the war.
Yes.
And such a step is very difficult and is very dangerous, and it is not lightly, and I think this is was some kind of threats, and counter threats between the parties of the conflict, and it is not likely, and hopefully that we are not going to reach this serious scenario.
Yes. Mr. Mohammed, with the current escalations happening right now in the region, everyone is quite busy with the Iran-Israeli war, and the main issue that had sparked all of this was actually the genocide war going on in Gaza. So right now, the spotlight is no longer on the suffering of the Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip. So how will the international councils be turning back the attention to the actual problem, where it is actually the genocide war in Gaza, and how will the suffering of the Palestinians end?
hopefully, by decreasing, the escalation between Iran and United States and Israel, that, all the international attention will focus again on Gaza and, the genocide which is happening in Gaza right now. I think, the Arab countries, especially Saudi Arabia and, France and Egypt, were planning, to have a big international, conference, to support the establishment of, the Palestinian state.
Yes.
I think, we are going, to go back, to the main issue, which is the Palestinian issue, and the Palestinian and the suffering of the Gaza people are gaining a lot of momentum, among the very conscious people all around the world, and this Palestinian issue is not going to disappear, and the Egyptian position and the Arab position,
of course,
is very clear. We are against the genocide. We are against, to force the Palestinians to leave their land, and the Palestinians are showing, a lot of courage, and they are stuck to their land, and they are not leaving their home, houses and places, despite all the suffering which they are facing right now.
Mr. Mohamed, Donald Trump's latest response to the Iranian strike indicates that there will be no U.S. response to the recent attack. So how will this reflect on the current situation? Will it actually de-escalate the war?
It seems to me that, Donald Trump have a lot of, troubles among his base in United States, and also among, the opposition of the Democratic members of the Congress, and also, the recent, public opinion survey was showing that 54% of the Americans, they don't like, and they don't support, the way Donald Trump is handling, the crisis with Iran. So, given the fact that, he is heading toward, the election of the Congress after 1 year from now, I think he was have to consider his position and de-escalate, and not to get involved, deeply in this crisis. And I think, by taking a little bit distance from this conflict, I think, Donald Trump could, and the Americans could, do a lot of, help to de-escalate, the situation, because Israel can't, stand for a long time in this bloody and painful, war, and with a lot of, destruction inside Israel.
Mr. Mohamed, thank you so much for being with us. We had with us over the phone Mr. Mohamed Sabreen, the managing editor of Al-Ahram newspaper, and he gave us the latest updates on the Israeli-Iran war and the escalations going on in the GCC countries as well. We will be taking a short break and coming back to you. Egypt.